having issues with each software, it might be something localized.
Oh yeah. Well, I
And
mean, I don't think it's localized, but we are live now. By the way, I just
oh,
I
okay.
didn't mean to. When we were talking about it there, I kind of like clicked the button. I thought I already had it already set up, and it just kind of like jumped through. Um, but yeah, it should be working. I'm gonna take a quick look and see. See, and the bad thing is when I take a quick look, if I see echoes, it's probably echoes from my, from where I'm looking at my phone.
Well, I know that when we first started talking, there was a lot of echo, but the last couple of days I haven't noticed any echo. At least not on my end.
Okay, bad thing is when I take a quick look, if I see echoes, it's probably echoes from the phone. Yeah, I don't hear you on there.
You don't hear
Yeah,
me
yeah,
on
yeah,
there?
yeah. I hear you. I'm going to make sure that your window is activated here. Let's see. All right, there is a delay. I don't like that delay. I'm going.
Yeah, well, there's some natural. I mean, it's part of the encoding.
All right, I'm going to turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
At the same level as mine. That should work.
Okay.
There is a delay. I don't like that delay.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it works. It works. Well,
Okay,
if
we.
there's any issue there, we'll go from it. But I mean, it all looks good from there. The stream seems to be running fine, and you know, hope, hopefully, everybody can hear it. If they'll point it out, I don't. I had like on the thing here, I had um, a chat window that's supposed to pop up and run, but it's not running. I fix that later, I guess. But okay. Anyway, tonight is supernatural and cosmic horror night. If you guys have seen the artwork for it, I posted a bunch, both on Facebook and YouTube, and made a ton of shorts. Uh, but normally, like back in the day, I used to do or try to do like try to break down each day into you know some special topic or whatever, and I think that's a good idea. I do. Um, to kind of keep some of the basics the same way it used to be. Um, while we're expanding on the show itself. Um, Hello, I see you in chat. Can you hear us? Okay, everything sound good? I can see the chat window. Okay, yeah, yeah. Chat window's working. Awesome. Like anytime anyone chats now, it goes on screen.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. That's working. That's working. You know, anybody that's casually tuning in, you gotta think that this is some new technology that I'm messing with, and I'm old. You know, tired. So I just ain't used to half of it. But anyway, like I said, we're joined by Tuck, and of course you see Charlie in the background back there. Um, uh, Tuck, do you know anything about Charlie?
No.
Charlie is basically the mascot of Paranormal Times. He, uh, you can take a quick look if you want to. You'll get a better idea. He's the actual one on the screen right now.
The doll
Yeah, well, he's not a doll. He's a puppet.
puppet. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take a look at it right now. Um.
And I'll tell you his story. And
All right. What's the story?
okay, now this is like I said, this is Charlie. When I first started the channel, and this is probably a good thing for you to think about. Your channel needs something. It really needs something. I didn't realize that when I first started out. And
What do you mean by need something?
every channel, I'm not just saying yours, I'm saying every channel needs something special. It needs something unique. It needs something that um that during
Sets it apart?
that during the process of you building your channel, um that you just find it and it becomes an intricate part of it.
Yeah, that's kind of where Sam comes in, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sam's a good thing. I mean, but I mean, it's good to have I don't know, something that is
Like a
outside.
mass.
Yeah, it's something that's outside of your normal. Like Sam in like in your videos, she's more of a like a person or a character that is part of the um, general whatever. She helps with you know like breaking dialogue, the things she does, and stuff like that. Um, now, and the reason I explain this, I mean, I had something similar to that in the beginning. There was a few people that I brought on, and then I talked about other stuff, and I brought little props in, and I would talk and think about them, and but I talked to a buddy, and I just felt like something was missing. It really bothered me. So I had this friend out in Hollywood, and he was one of those that liked to watch those, auction houses and things when stuff would go up. And
Mm-hmm.
there was this elderly woman. She's a famous actress from back in the 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
She was old then. Well, she wasn't old then. She actually, the pictures I saw, she was a very attractive woman. I mean, but anyway, back then they had an obsession in Hollywood with um, puppets and Ouija boards and stuff like that. And they would have these seances and tarot readings. They would bring all these people over, and some of the video of these actual events were insane. Um, but anyway, um, so right about when I don't know 6 months into my channel, I said I had my buddy. He was out there. He called me up and he says, "Dude," he says, "I know you're looking for something." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, this old lady passed away, and they were cleaning up her estate and everything, and I found this box." I'm like, well, what's in the box? And he said there's a puppet in here and a Ouija board, and I think there was a small book in there, and he said that I think you should check it out. And now in the book there was like pictures and like stories of where she was doing the seances, and she was talking to these people in Hollywood. People would come over and try to get readings, and it was kind of weird in Hollywood back then. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I made a deal with them. Um, Charlie and the Ouija board and the book was mailed out here, and we got them. And uh, he's always been like, as soon as I you know put him on the show, as soon as I started taking pictures, I would take still pictures and use him in like as the picture for my channel, the end credits, and it seemed like things got better, and I introduced this puppet to Paranormal Times, and he I mean, it just seems like it changed things, and he's always been that way. I mean, I mean, like I said, these older dolls are, they're actually worth a little bit of money. The but the insides are made different. They're, um, oh, especially his. Uh, there's one person that was actually helping me fix Charlie, and he believed that there was actually human remains in Charlie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like cremated remains. But I don't know. Charlie's been around. There's, like I said, there's video and pictures out there of this puppet and this woman and the Ouija board. Now the Ouija board is like super ancient. It's back over here. Um, I never really used it as a prop, but I mean it's here. I mean it's one of the super old ones. The whole history behind Ouija and stuff is crazy too. Um,
Int-
but yeah, I mean
in-
I just thought I'd point that out. And like I said, I've been meaning to pop him on the show, and it's weird how little inanimate objects like that can kind of influence and give your show a certain look, certain feel. People attached to. And who knows? Maybe there's some type of presence there. I don't know.
y- well, it is kind of creepy, and considering your genre and what you go into, I mean, yeah, that's like a perfect. That's a perfect prop. Um, yeah, I should probably, for me, it would probably be like a handmade walking stick or something along those lines.
Yeah, or
Um,
maybe you go to like one of those Tibetan temples or something along the way, and find some kind of
mm,
special thing. But I mean, yeah, you need to. I think you should grab something like that. Something. There, or maybe like a Indian res or something. Some kind of protection thing or whatnot. But the other reason why I brought up Charlie is, like I said, tonight's supernatural and cosmic horror. Um, you know about Annabelle, right?
about what?
Annabelle the doll.
No.
You have to. You've got to sing Annabelle, like the from the movie. What was it? Uh, Help me out, chat. Let's see. It was the The Conjuring?
You talking about that big old fucking dog?
No, Annabelle. Well, okay. There's a movie called Annabelle, and then they made a bunch of movies. Yeah, they made The Conjuring. Uh, it was popularized by paranormal researchers Ed and Lorraine Warren, which I thought both of those were scammers, to be honest with you. A lot of people will argue with me, but she is basically the original one is a what do you call it? A, they used a different one for the movie, but the original doll was I always found him creepy. Yeah, the real doll, a Raggedy Ann doll. Um, but anyway, apparently this doll is possessed by a demon, and it affects. I mean, it influences curses on people. It has caused death. The last caretaker, well, the caretaker before the last one, decided it was a great idea to take Annabelle on this on this U.S. tour, and so he took it all around and he let people mess with it and basically go in and terrorized it and everything else. And somebody finds it hard to believe you don't know about Annabelle, but hey, he's not up on some of this stuff, and I don't blame him. I mean, Annabelle is a scary thing when you really think about it. Um, but there's been so many claims about it. I mean, like possession, house possession. We're full on exorcist type demon. type stuff. Um, but anyway, the reason I brought it up, I had hoped that you actually knew about her because after the last caretaker had a heart attack, um, that they have decided that there was a comedian that bought the rights in the house, the old Warren house, and they have set it up as a bed and breakfast. And they're letting people stay there. That you can go stay with this doll overnight. And so my question to you was, you're out there on the road and stuff. If I could set it up, would you stay a night with that doll?
Would I stay where?
Would you stay a night with that doll, Annabelle?
Am I getting paid to do it, or am I just doing it for shock content, or what?
Well, you're doing it for your own. I mean, I would want you to watch the movies and stuff like that to see what you're getting into, but I would I think the content would pay for itself. Yeah.
Um,
I
I
mean,
mean, if there was,
it's like a it's
if
like a
I had,
it's like a
if
thousand
I,
dollars to stay there.
it's how much?
It's like $1,000 to stay there.
Oh, okay. So I get the free stay and then do content with it. If that's what you're saying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. If it's $1,000 a stay, I mean, why not? And then I can start a betting pool on my channel to see, how I last or whatever. I mean, because there's gonna be people that are thinking, that I'm gonna freak out or whatever.
Oh, I mean, I
So,
I, I think I think I would. I mean, honestly, I mean, after everything that I saw, so see the whole thing about the Warrens. Like now, the house is basically what you would call a normal, basically a normal house, and like right down below it, you walk a little ways, and then they have a place called the Warren Museum. Now
oh wow,
the Warren Museum. Now this thing was closed down by the city, believe it or not.
okay,
So this is basically the only way they can let people come in there. But anyway, the Warren Museum and there's like this tunnel that runs from the house to the Warren Museum, and along the walls of the tunnel is all these paintings by this supposed researcher, Ed Warren, about these supernatural things that he had encountered. And inside the museum, it's supposed to be full of all of these supernatural items and uh, different things. And I mean, there has been people that have went in there and taken pictures with Annabelle. Like Annabelle's in this glass case, literally. She
hmm
there's a priest. There's literally a priest that comes in and blesses this thing every time, every day.
really,
Yeah, there are people who are legitimately scared of this thing. There are pictures online of where people, decide to do a selfie with Annabelle, and
hmm
the one of the most recent ones I saw, there was something that looked like a demon on the glass with Annabelle and the person. Now, what's really weird about Annabelle, as she was on tour, I'm still half shocked that you didn't know about the tour and all that stuff. I mean, it was like big news, people talking about it, going crazy
I
about
here's the thing, and this is the reason why I should get a
it.
better pool going. I was the kid that went to the drive-in with his parents and watched Pet Cemetery, or fucking watched Jason or Freddy Krueger, like all of those old super scary movies. Because my mom was into horror movies, and like even Graveyard Shift was probably the one that traumatized me enough to where I never ever ever wanted to see. I hated. I used to hide in the back seat watching those movies. The new movies now, they're not that scary. I actually kind of laugh at them. I'm like, dude, the movies in the '80s were so much more scary.
You said Graveyard Shift.
Yeah, the one with the big old rats and the beady red eyes.
Yeah. That's a classic King type thing.
Yeah, I know.
There's actually hardcore Stephen King fan in the chat, and well, I am too as well. I mean, I got majority of his insane amount of books and stuff, but Graveyard Shift is one of those classic um, horror flicks.
Yeah, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old when I watched that.
That when you were growing up, did your family like uh, you know when Stephen King shows and movies would come on TV, it seemed like on ABC or NBC or whatever, the old
Yeah,
broadcast stuff. There would be a Stephen King show that would come, or a series that would come on like once a year or something.
kind of like Roots.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was one that was what was it? Langoliers, I think, was one.
Oh, that one was good. I've seen that one.
Um, there was Golden Years, I think it was one.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's basically about old people who. Yeah, that's in Night Shift. Now
Yeah. Did you
um
watch Cocoon?
huh
Did you watch Cocoon?
yeah, I watched Cocoon. Cocoon was an interesting movie. I mean, it was, and it come out at an interesting time. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, my family was into horror movies and definitely Stephen King. I mean, I like Stephen King, but now that I'm older, but when I was younger, oh no, he scared the shit out of me. So, my dad's into Dean Koontz.
Now there was something weird that popped up across the United States. There has been this mysterious symbol that has been found on people's windshields.
What is it?
It's kind of looks like a man. I mean, it looks like that old homeless, markers and stuff. But it's a black card, and in red, it's a stick man, and there's three lines through its belly, and on the other side is a QR code. And when people scan the QR code, it says "Don't drive at night," and then it pops up this weird website of a car going down the road.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a. I was going to show the website online, but I don't think I should. But
No,
yeah,
YouTube might have a fucking Karen moment.
yeah. But I mean, but literally, I mean, if anybody out there you see some kind of strange flyer or something on your car, I would be cautious about it. Um, but it definitely says don't drive at night, and there's like I said a QR code, and uh, at first I thought maybe this was some kind of like horror movie production or something, but I actually think there's something more to it.
Oh,
Um,
hold on, no. Hold on. So, the guy that I told you claimed to be Cicada, see, I didn't know who Cicada was. He had to show me who Cicada was because I was like, okay, yeah, so what? And then he shows me like the whole documentary, and he's like, yeah, that's me. He told me how it started off, and it's just it's kind of a narcissist. Wet dream is really what it is. But people were always wondering like, how did he get all these QR codes all around the world? And what he did is because he was a gamer and he played a very niche game, kind of like Roblox, but it was like a space game, and he had his own alliance stuff. He'd pay some of his teammates to just like $20. Hey, here, print this off and tape this here. And so that was actually how he had that done. So there could be a coordinated effort to make it look like it's something random or to kind of really bring attention. But it may be just a coordinated effort of some guy just sending some friends some cards and saying put them on these windshields.
yeah, but I mean. it just kind of seems, I don't know. I mean, sticking them on a billboard, sticking them on like a, I don't know if you, I don't know, I don't even know if they're out there after cough cough, but there used to be like these pegboards that you could stick, little
There's
flyers and
still
stuff on, and
small towns, yes.
yeah, and I mean, well, I mean, some should be in some big towns. I mean, I mean that's how you would advertise. You're like, hey, so and so's got lawn care and this and that and everything else, or I watch dogs, or.
It- Only people over 50 are going to see that. People under 50 don't even if they know about it, they don't even think it exists anymore. Like, I mean, I only know about it because of my mom, and she would check the board. And when I had a business, I'd put things up there, but I never, ever, ever got a call from any of those.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just concerned about it. I mean, I saw it. People were talking about it. Well, people weren't really talking about it, other than I don't know, probably I don't know, a few thousand. I mean, in today's day and age, you see a few thousand people tune in or ping in on a Facebook thread or a Reddit comment. You kind of wonder how many of those are actually bots and everything else. I'm really believing that there is I'm really believing in the dead internet theory, and I mean just basically from what I've seen out of people. For the past year, well, for the past couple of years, I'll admit it, and anybody that actually tramples over from some of the mayhem that I've been causing, I'll go out and I will literally purposely troll um, various Reddit groups and Facebook things. I'll go on there and I mean, I can't help it. I mean, the urge to write something just pops, and I'm like, okay, this would be funny to say, and it's not always funny. I mean,
It's funny to you.
it's funny to me. Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I actually had to, there was this. I mean, I think that it was like some when I went to his page, it said uh, FBI agent, but I mean, I actually thought there for a while somebody was following me around watching what I was doing. I'd found a comment from him, and he said he said my guy's hilarious. I mean, and yeah, I mean, I would go through. I mean, people would be talking normal stuff, or they would be doing, you know, fussing about things that they shouldn't fuss about. And I mean, the reason for that is because I think the internet has gotten to a point where people just moan and groan about all kinds of stuff, and it's just not the way it used to be, and I don't know. It's bothersome. I mean,
But
I want a world, and I'm sure everybody in this group, and probably everywhere else to some degree, you know, want a place, where we can all get along, and I'm sorry, but I want a place where we can all get along and try to have a fairly decent conversation about the weirdness and try to bring some normalcy to the world we live in. And it seems like that everything is slowly degrading. Have you guys seen that movie? Is it Idiocracy? I think it is.
Idiocracy
Yeah, Idiocracy. Thank you.
with what's his name? The fucking the comedian guy, John Stewart.
Yeah, John Stewart. John Stewart. The Gatorade thing and everything else. Um,
Oh, that idiocracy. Oh, that idiocracy. Okay. Yes, I've seen that as well. Brondo, it's fucking something for the plants and shit, right?
yeah. Brondo has electrolytes, and plants need electrolytes. And the plants are not even growing out there. It's because the electrolytes are basically salt. They're just dumping salt into the thing, and for those that don't know, please go find the movie and look at it and stuff, because you will actually literally see.
Modern day society.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's literally an example of how society has slowly sort of fell down. And I remember watching it when I was a kid, or maybe a teenager. I think I was a teenager. Yeah, I remember watching it when I was a teenager, and I'm like, this ain't never gonna happen. And
Yeah, it was just something funny.
yeah, just something funny. A lot of those movies are something funny, but it seems like some of these people. I mean, and it goes back to what I said, a couple nights ago, that I swear to God, there's this device or cube or typewriter or something stuck in a warehouse beside movie scripts that come from Hollywood, and this thing's making stuff happen. I swear, I swear. I
Well,
mean,
hold on. In the free man movement, so I used to follow a group called Creditors in Commerce. They were the wiser of all of the groups that were out there. And one of the guys used to say, and I think even what's his name? Fuck. He did the Jordan Maxwell. I think he even said this is that when your news is, when you can no longer get the news, you turn to your storytellers, and Hollywood is telling you about your past, present, and future. So like Maze Runner, Hunger Games, and there was a third one. Those were all dystopian futures that we were being told that we were on the path to be able to have. And there's, like Prince of Persia and stuff like that tells us about our past. But most of these movies, either because the storytellers can kind of see cause and effect, or because they're getting fed information from the feds, because the feds fund a lot of these movies. Plus, a lot of these actors and actresses are fucking CIA agents and stuff. So it just I think that there's something there. I don't think that there's some typewriter. I think that these guys are in the know and they're doing it through cinematography. That's why Obama's film was such a big deal.
I mean, I'm sure they're getting information from the CIA. I mean, I even think that um, Stephen King and um, Spielberg and numerous others have, at least some type of contact within the government. I mean, there was I don't know if you guys know, or you probably heard some crazy internet guy talking about it, and now you're hearing another one. But there used to be this thing called Project Mockingbird. Project Mockingbird was the official code name, and it was I can show you the documents or pop them up or whatever. But Project Mockingbird is where the CIA recruited, and this started in Vietnam, recruited numerous news organizations and basically held them hostage, and would give them information, and they actually did this with Hollywood too. They would give them information, and they would say, "Well, you need to report this, or you need to talk about this, or whatever." And every news story that these like New York Times and you know everything else, they would literally had to submit a paper to the CIA Communication Division. I think it's OSI or something,
Mm-hmm.
um, for approval. And if they didn't approve it, or if there was some reporter that says, "Well, I'm going to do it anyway," it's a um, we're gonna arrest you. We're gonna cut you down. And they done that. If you look back through history, and you look at up and coming um, newscasters, and you look at up and coming, I mean, that's one thing too. You can go back and you can watch newscasters, and suddenly they mysteriously, disappear, or something happens to them. Um, or there's reporters that were reporting on the ground about something, and all of a sudden they're nobody. I mean, I have spoke to reporters that were, you know, ready to win prizes, ready to win, um, Pulitzers and stuff like that, and suddenly they got shut down because they were basically talking about the wrong thing. Um, so yeah, there's definitely control, and it's always been there. And you know, I agree. I agree, Chat. I don't think Operation Mockingbird ever ended. I I think it may have been modified and changed.
Are
Um,
you familiar with the Church Commission?
the what now?
The Church Commission?
You're talking about, or is this the Baptist one or the Mormon one, or is this supposedly over all of them?
No, the Church Commission, Barry Church, the 70s.
You'll have to throw that one at me. I'm not sure. I mean,
Okay,
I may have. I mean, it might be in the back of my head somewhere. I'm sure it might be some information that I deleted along the way. Along the way.
so there were some whistleblowers that were coming out about operations that the government was doing, and as the whistleblowers came out, they formed the Church Commission because, especially after what Kennedy had said, and then they just had RFK and MLK assassinated. So there was a look into it because people were claiming that the government was responsible, and so the Church Commission comes about. And so, as they start doing their digging, they come to find out that the head of every single criminal organization is either an FBI guy or one of the other alphabet guys, and they actually control everything, and they're responsible for what happened to RFK and to MLK and so on and so forth because of just the way in which they were disseminating things. And so the program that the feds were using was called COINTELPRO, or Counterintelligence Program. And so what they would do is like if you saw a protest, they would go in there and they would instigate it, so that therefore it got bad publicity and turned public opinion against it. In the same way that Mockingbird did its thing. And so what they did is in the 70s is they said the government can no longer do this. It was a lot like Glass-Steagall, where it forced the separation between investment banks and deposit banks, because that's what part of what caused the crash in 29. And so once 9/11 happened, it was the most opportune time. They undid every single thing that the Church Commission had done. So in a matter of 2 years, two of the most important roadblocks had been put up to kind of keep America stable and on the right path, which was Glass-Steagall, which was because of Newt Gingrich in '99. Uh, that was overturned, so he was being bought off by the bankers. And then you have the Patriot Act, which brings back counterintelligence program and all kinds of other stuff that was banned under the Church Commission.
Yeah, I'm to the point now. Anyone that says, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I was uh I think I had looked into it. The anything that has the word church attached to it anymore seems like it's there's something funky going on. I mean, honestly, uh, now we're not going to go into it tonight. I but I want to throw this out there. It will be on probably next week if I can rack my brain to do it. But we're going to do a deep dive into the Vatican and the Catholic Church, because there has been some crazy stuff that has popped up, and I'm not talking about like all the stuff that you would normally see in society. I'm talking about some extremely crazy supernatural stuff that has occurred, and that is literally verifiable. Um, but yeah, we'll cover that then. There's some other stuff around those topics. But yeah, I mean, the messaging to me. Um, but now see, going back. Now we were on the Annabelle thing. There's one more thing I want to bring up about Annabelle. Like when she was when she was on tour, and like I said, they went everywhere. Um, and what's funny is you were probably in the same places that she was in when you were doing your walkabout. um, but there was this big place down in Georgia. It was a old slave mansion, Um, and they had a showing there, and this is where she was staying for a little while. Well, she come out, and they were getting ready to move her, and this whole place just burnt to the ground, and I mean millions and millions of dollars worth of damage, and they can't explain it. They don't know why it happened, why it occurred. You know, the place is old, but I mean it's been updated, so you know it's you know it was a historical landmark that this was basically destroyed after you know Annabelle touched it. And I mean that's not the only thing that happened with her along the trip. You know, like I said, her caretaker, the last caretaker, not this current one, but the last caretaker. Um, Actually, you might know the current caretaker, but the last caretaker had a heart attack, and he was in good health too.
Mm. I mean, they could be keeping the hoax alive by, just doing some underhanded stuff and just paying out the claim and letting it be.
Oh yeah, I
considered
mean
an act of
it's
God.
possible. I mean, not long after that, and I mean, I'm not one that's fully behind and saying I believe Annabelle is now I do believe that there are dolls that out there that are possessed. I do. I mean, well, that was one of the other interesting things. And believe it or not, they actually tried to get me to bring Charlie. Now, I didn't have any interest in doing it, but this was like a town right below New York, and part of the tour, they tried to get all of the quote unquote haunted dolls together. They wanted to have this big, EVP and supernatural session, and Annabelle's going to be there, and all these other supposed dolls were going to be there, and honestly, frankly, a lot of people that's in that realm that I consider are fakes. And I wouldn't. And like I said, I mean, I got a paper here where they asked me to bring Charlie, but I wouldn't even grace him with his presence or my presence or anything else that I have. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I would be there trying to debunk them, and they wouldn't like me very very much. The guy that had the heart attack was Dan Riviera. He was the one that was the New England Society for Psychic Research. Like the big thing up there, but the one that has it now is a comedian and is Matt Rife.
Oh, that dude, really?
Yeah. He's the one that. Well, let's see, Matt Rife.
I know who Matt Rife is.
Yeah, Matt Rife and YouTuber. And forgive me if you ever see this or anyone else, but I'm, like I said, words are hard. I'm tired. I'm old. But YouTuber Elton Castee. It's ELTONCASTEE. I think he does like a lot of food stuff and a few other things. Anyway, they decided to purchase the former home of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and that was depicted in the Conjuring films, and so they are technically the legal guardians for at least the next 5 years of Annabelle doll and the things that are in the Warren Museum. See, that's the other thing, is Ed and Warren technically didn't own Annabelle, and they technically don't own anything that's in that museum. They're on loan from the individuals and the houses they went to supposedly exorcise them, and anything like that. If there's ever any question about that, so at any point the owners can go in and physically take the objects out of that museum, and frankly, I think they should. But yeah. I mean, there's even one video. There's this English lady, or maybe it was a Russian lady, I don't know. She's a big YouTuber. She goes. They let her take and open Annabelle's case and literally cut off one of her locks of hair. They're trying to. The woman was trying to make the supposed the spirit, the entity in the doll mad. I mean, that I mean, if I was an owner and I had something on loan to somebody, that would make me mad. I mean, it would. I mean, wouldn't it make you mad if someone was destroying your property for some silly thing?
Mm, what most people don't know is there's a lot of stuff that goes on the back end to allow that to happen.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
They may have been trying to increase its value because of its media coverage, especially with a large YouTuber.
Well,
So
I
it
mean,
might have been
I
an
don't think
investment decision.
I don't think that the actual increase in value is. I mean, the object itself, after all of the movies. I mean, we're talking a multi-billion-dollar franchise of movies. I mean, there are I think there's like five. There's Conjuring, Annabelle, and there's all kinds of others, and they're getting ready to do some kind of Black Mirror uh, demon thing. And I mean, the whole. I mean, I can understand why this Matt Rife and the YouTuber bought the thing because now they're going to get a cut from the movies. You know, I would hate to think what they actually paid for that freaking house. I mean, honestly, but you know, but they're definitely cut into it. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't. I mean, I think that after all the movies and everything else, and after all the other static about it, I don't see why they would even want to do that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It's just stupidity.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it sells itself.
Um. Yeah. You know what? I actually, since we're on paranormal and stuff like that, I actually had my first paranormal experience when I think I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. So my aunt used to tell me that my grandma's house was haunted, and I'm like, yeah, right, you're full of shit. I don't believe it. And to this day, I still can't explain what happened. It scared the shit out of me though. But anyways, so apparently there was a house that was built there, and the house had burned down, and the family got burned alive upstairs. And so every so often they would reenact that whole thing, and they would be running up and down the stairs and trying to get the kid and the wife out, and they're getting burned in and stuff like that. My aunt would tell me how the woman and the child would sit on the edge of her bed, and that there was a cross that was in embedded in the ceiling, and wherever she moved her bed, that cross would move with it. And I actually got to witness that in my later teenage years because that became my room. Um, and but like I'm downstairs in like the spare bedroom and stuff like that, and it's about after my aunt gets done telling me the story, probably about maybe midnight, 2 a.m. All of a sudden, you start hearing this. You could hear something running up and down the stairs the whole night, and I swore up and down. I swear somebody's fucking with me. I mean, even at 10 years old, I was thinking that, you know, and I ended up.
As kids, everything seems to be enhanced, and things seem to mess with us a lot more. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it's our own imaginations or there's actual things that are going on. I mean, there's some belief that and I do believe it. I mean, honestly, I mean, I've seen it. There seems to be children that are receptible to, um, whatever you want to call the ghostly or the spirit realm. I mean,
Yeah. I believe my aunt as I got older, but yeah, and everybody was like, no, we didn't do anything. No, that wasn't us. We were asleep. I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't hear anything, because I was so scared. I was paralyzed. I couldn't get out of fucking bed. I was like, it was almost like being in a night terror.
I mean,
That
have you had night terrors before?
yes, I used to think that I was being chased by demons. So like this is right as this is in during the 2008 collapse, and like I'm the only one working, and my job, their way of motivating you was threatening to fire you. So I was under a lot of fucking stress. New wife, new baby, fucking expensive place to live, all that crap. And and so yeah, I started having night terrors where I'd be sleeping on the couch, and all of a sudden it was like I was awake, but there was these beady red eyes, kind of like in Graveyard Shift, these beady red eyes that were just kind of following me. And I wasn't I'd already given up religion at that point in time, but I swear to you, I prayed to every god I could figure out a prayer to, because yeah, that scared the like it was like you're fucking so afraid. It was almost about as being as afraid as what I was when I was a kid. Like it was like you can't even scream. You're like,
Oh, no, I mean, like I said, I was bringing that up because now with my mom, when she was alive and when I was a kid, um, she would see the Hat Man. Now, a lot of people now back then, I'm not sure what medications were floating around, but one of the medications that a lot of people seemed to be affected by was Benadryl or antihistamines or whatever. And they, people who end up taking a lot of it or even a little bit of it, they claim they see the Hat Man.
okay, that may have been what I saw. All I saw was all I remembered. This is almost 20 years ago. But yeah, I mean, it was some creature, and it was crawling on fours. It was kind of like you ever seen Fern Gully, the black monster, the oil monster or whatever it is, the sludge from Fern Gully.
Yeah, yeah, I remember the
Yeah, it
sludge.
was it was a lot like that, but with beady red eyes.
Mm. I don't know. That seems like it would be something that would mess with me. I mean,
Oh,
we had the old family plot down there. We had there was an old cemetery, and the the cemetery was at night. Of course, it wasn't during the day or anything. There used to be this big old white house, and they claimed there was murders and stuff that happened in it and whatnot. But every night you could see a pair of glowing red eyes down there in the cemetery. In this old cemetery, it was carted off by a fence and overgrown, and it just looked out of place right there. I used to
you
go.
sure it wasn't a reflection from something?
Oh, I'm positive. I went down there many times. I, I remember going down there as a kid and catching garden spiders. They're the freaking things were huge.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It was something definitely there. I mean, there's you can kind of go into the the various cemeteries and stuff, and if you go to the right ones, like there's definitely it seems like there's something there. Um,
You ever do the Alabama Road Walk?
I think I was on it and off of it. Yeah.
If you're about maybe two stops, maybe three stops before, because you start going up into the high hills, and you come across this church that's like it doesn't even exist. It's just like almost they kept it there because it's a historical landmark or something like that. But it's a church that's on fucking cinder blocks, and it's right next to a graveyard. And the camp spot for the night, because you're sleeping at churches the whole way, the camp spot for the night is right there in on the edge of the damn graveyard, man. That's probably the creepiest place I've ever had to sleep. And I've talked to others who've had to sleep in graveyards, man. It on trail, it's kind of unsettling.
I mean, it is. I mean, it would be unsettling if I was camping out at old churches along the way anyway.
The churches generally weren't old. They were well. There was probably maybe three of them that you could say might be abandoned or just in really bad disrepair at the very minimum.
There's a when I was out hiking and stuff. I remember, and this was the last thing from my mind. I didn't even think about using it in this video. Um, but when I was younger, I was out, I think camping, hiking along. I was in a place in South Carolina along the marsh, and there's this huge. I'm not sure if it was Catholic. I don't think it was Catholic. It had to be Protestant or some other thing. Um, maybe it was Baptist, but I know it wasn't built like the Baptist churches. I mean, this was this massive stone thing, and well, what was left of it, that is, because during the 1800s, um, in this big city, well, it wasn't really a big city. It was like a little small town, and this big church, and all these people would come to this church, and we're talking like maybe 500-600 people every Sunday, and you get together, talk, and meet and make deals and whatever else they do, and um, well, one day the preacher um, said they need. I mean, he started talking about dark stuff. He started talking about evil stuff, and so one day the preacher decided to lock the doors, and he set the whole place on fire, and there was, I think it was either 500 or 600 people lost their lives in there.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was never rebuilt, but I mean, you can camp there. You can camp, um, among the ruins, and it is a beautiful place, and I mean it has the,
You,
the look of South Carolina, and the way Louisiana looks, and the Spanish moss hangs from the tree, and the weeping willows and everything. It's
oh,
a good
nice.
story setting. Yeah.
Wow. You know what's funny is it seems like well, with the exception of the liberal parts of South, like Florida, um, most of the churches in the deep South, like Alabama, Mississippi, I think even Louisiana will allow you to do that. You could stay at any church, and you generally don't have any issue. It's when you start getting into the northern states or the more liberal states that you actually have trouble staying at the churches.
Well, I know around here you can they don't really like you staying at or around the churches, unless it's some kind of like historical landmark, and they got some kind of thing going on out there. But normally, as a given, they don't want you staying anywhere where there's a cemetery at night. I mean, I don't know why
Grave
that
robbers,
is a rule,
or
but
maybe it's still religious superstition.
I don't think so. Maybe, I mean, it could be, but I mean it seems like, I mean, everyone that I spoke with, I mean, I've even spoke with the local police department here about it, because when I was when I was a kid, I mean, we would go out at night, and we would do little hellion things, and sometimes we'd end up in the graveyards, and um like down the road in North Carolina, there's one called, it was rumored to be a witch that lived down there. I mean, that was buried down there, and it was one of the bigger. I mean, it was a massive graveyard. That's another topic we should get on too. But anyway, let me tell the story first. But it was nicknamed the Knocking Graveyard, and the reason it was nicknamed the Knocking Graveyard is because there is a tombstone down there, or pretty large tombstone, a vault and everything. And you go down there on Halloween night, and you knock on it, and the thing will knock back. And I always thought it was bullshit. Every single time I hear people talk about it, they tell me, "Oh, well, we're going down there at Halloween, and we're going to go to the Knocking Graveyard," and I'd always blow it off, and end up finding something else for me to do that night, or whatever. Um, but there come a time that old Denny wanted to impress a girl, and so I took her down there. Well, a bunch of us, we all got out and we went down there, and um, this was the first foreign girl that I had met. She was actually from, oddly, from Iran at that time. I mean, back then, and I guess things are different. But she spoke good English and everything, and she had a interest and fondness for like weird stuff and whatnot. She ended up turning out to be a drug addict later on, but that was long after you know we parted ways. But yeah, I took her down there, and we were hanging out. The rest of the guys and the girls, everyone they brought we were all hanging out, and I had her sitting on the vault of that thing, and I was telling her the story about it, and I think I think me and her, well, I think everybody, we were all drinking. What was it back then? It wasn't Four Loco. It was
Or Mad Dog?
no. Well, the Mad Dog didn't normally get drunk unless we were out in the country. I think it was Cisco. Yeah, Cisco.
Oh damn.
Yeah,
That's what.
so,
Oh god.
Cisco make you crazy. Um, and we were knocking back Cisco. It was cheap, effective, and you would wake up in a cornfield with a sore rear end, thinking you were abducted by aliens and got probed. Um, it happened more than once. Uh, but yeah, we were there. Buzz was kicking. I think somebody was passing a J, and the midnight come around, and I had her there. I was doing my thing, and I said, "Okay, guys, it's time." We knocked on the thing. That damn thing knocked back. I swear it knocked back. It changed the whole attitude of the evening. I mean,
Really?
yeah. I mean, you had high and drunk teenagers that were flipping out, and thought something was there after them. I still don't know how it works. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of there's got to be some kind of mechanism in there. I don't know. I mean, maybe it turns on every Halloween or some nutty thing, but I'm sure there's got to be some mechanism in that grave. Um, later on I saw like plans and stuff for people making things, and even people even going as far as putting like radios and stuff in their coffins. So I mean, it may be, I don't know, but it was definitely a weird night after that. Have you ever heard about the have you ever been in a Tesla?
Yes, on an Uber.
On an Uber? Okay. Well, like right there in the front where they got there's like this little computer looking thing,
Yeah.
and it shows you where you're going and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's supposed to have like a detection system in there that lets you know when people are around.
Mhm.
Well, people had started taking their Teslas into cemeteries, and this camera system is supposed to be so impressive that it is literally, and it's the only place that this happens. Now, if you're around somebody that's got one, ask them to show you because it's damn interesting. Um, but you know how people can like supposedly ghost hunters and stuff will say they can detect and see ghosts and whatnot. Then,
Mhm.
well, the camera on a Tesla, the avoidance, collision avoidance camera and everything seems to be able to pick up moving objects within a cemetery that are not there.
Here's my question though. Do you think that they are actual spirits stuck, or do you think that they are whispers? That every once in a while we see through the veil, or it becomes very strong because we're in the right moment. whether it be psychologically, emotionally, or whatever. You got the right ingredients, and you get to see and feel this stuff. But also, there are certain places where there are high amounts of energy concentration, maybe because of things that the local population had done to the area unknowingly because they just didn't understand, the cause and effect of some of the actions that they were taking.
But why would there be whispers in a graveyard?
No, a whisper as in, okay, so you know how there's
A
the
remnant.
Akashic records.
I like the word remnant better. A remnant. Like I think it was either something that I used in a story or I, anyway. Basically, a remnant is like a flash or uh, like a memory of an individual that comes in and out, sort of like thing.
Kind of, yes. So I mean, so there were people that did certain things or whatever, and every once in a while there would just be kind of like that knee jerk because it had happened at one point in time. Because it's almost like every like time is happening all in one simultaneous second. It seems like forever to us, but in the way the cosmos are going, or if you what is it? I don't know what the theory is actually called, where you have the constant like spin-off. So you make one decision, then an alternate reality is created with the other decision, and so therefore, like if you're running a a simulation for knowledge and wisdom to evolve to have a deeper understanding of whatever question that you're asking. It would make sense to have something like that to where it's like all of time, past, present, and future is all happening in the same split second.
I mean, possible. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I have seen. I have. You know, I don't know how accurate it is. So, but I have seen people go out and look, and I have experienced stuff that I can't explain. My family has experienced stuff that they can't explain, and it seems like these, whatever this is, be it remnant, be it an actual spirit that was able to come across and is whole or whatever. But it seems like they have some type of knowledge or intelligence. Um, to answer your question in chat about the Teslas, yes, that was the official explanation from Tesla. They said the system cameras and neural networks often mistake weather tombstones and angel statues and stuff like that. However, someone put that to the test, and that is not accurate because they would take it into other places that were graveyards, and they would see these things, and those weather tombstones and angel statues and stuff like that would not be around, and they would see these things walking up to a car and getting in the way of the car and everything else. And I highly advise anyone, if you know somebody that has a Tesla, have them take you to a cemetery, but it to a test yourself. It is.
Maybe the camera's seeing through the veil.
Well, I think. Well, we know that cameras have the ability to do certain things. I mean, oddly, one of the cameras I was going to use for the new stream was an Xbox One Connect. Um, but I ended up spending a lot of money on a PTZ, and probably shouldn't have, but I did. And because it's got like pan tilt, and it's has a wider capture angle, and I can do more with it. But I can do some stuff with it. But the thing about an Xbox Connect is actually has been utilized since it come out, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But anyway, it's still a very good camera, and and some actual streamers use it. It's just kind of like bulky, but it has infrared in there. It has laser patterns and stuff like that, and it actually
Yeah, I used
does
to have one.
Huh?
I used to have one.
Yeah, you can download the software from Microsoft to run it as
Like,
as a webcam and utilize it for those things. I mean, I mean, you like one of the things that they want you to do now is to use something on your computer. It's called Windows Hello, and they tried to implement it about 5 years ago, and it's like for face recognition and everything, so you can use your face to log onto your computer, which I don't like. I really don't. I mean, I already do that with my iPhone, and it feels weird doing that with my desktop because I mean my desktop is in my home and I mean I can lock it down whenever I want to. But anyway, I
yeah,
mean
but
not
eventually
raining
it'll
not
trigger.
raining off of that. I don't want to sound like
No,
a
I
cat.
think that that is a valid concern because think of its integration into artificial intelligence. So therefore, it loads your profile with your AI, whatever. And if it's already has a mission or a goal, because you're leaning too far in one direction, and it needs to get you to slowly move back to the center left or center right, depending upon what it's trying to accomplish at that point in time. They've even proven that even YouTube does that. That this is how they're liberalizing most of the conservatives is
Well, I
that they
mean
just
it's
slowly
a
show.
it's a yeah, they are, and I mean not to get too political with it. I mean um, the system now. See, one of the laws they actually a law has been submitted to Congress. This one is already passed in California and Washington. What they're doing now is they're making you do visual and age verification for any operating system. Now, that means you have to have age verification and visual representation for smart TVs, smart refrigerators, Linux,
I'm going to
everything.
tell you the problem with that because I do have an app that I use for age verification, but depending upon the platform is which one they'll use. So I use Yoti, but um, but and it's pretty simple. You just upload a picture of your fucking ID and you put in some information and you're basically verified. It just they've just got a copy of your ID at this point. There's no biometrics. And was it WorldCoin is actually paying people in crypto to go and set up facial profiles.
I saw that.
Here
I
in
mean, and
Yeah.
it seems like I don't know. I would never do it. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to go get my face
Well, it
any more.
depends upon where I could spend it. If I could spend it, I might go do it. I don't give a shit. What do I care? They at this point in time, they're tracking you regardless. Look at all these cameras that they're putting up. Look at what New Orleans has been doing. Look at now with AI and not having guardrails and putting like a 10-year moratorium on any AI regulations, allowing it to just run amok. I mean,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's
there
general
you
now.
can't escape
I
it.
mean, you can't. Like we know I was talking about when I was talking about last night or night before. I mean, you can't escape this, and I mean, it's pretty much
Well, you
what it
could.
boils down to is just your own belief system and how you wanna handle it. And I mean, that's more what I'm referring to. I just
Well, you know what they've started doing, and I even reported on this, is in desert communities and in rural communities now, they have especially in Arizona, we actually once a week we have a U-2 fucking spy plane that comes through and maps it and see what kind of terrain changes. They're using they're using the cover of illegal aliens and like something like vagrants or something along those lines. Basically, so that they can go after anybody that they deem that they want to go after, as long as they can title them one or the other. And so, but they're using it to be able to see what's going on because as they start to clamp down, they expect people to run out into the rural communities, and so they're already doing surveillance on that. Every square inch of this country is surveilled and mapped and looked at on a regular basis.
I would be interested in seeing what kind of weird stuff they're seeing. I mean, of course, you see the people and doing illegal stuff and or running or hiding or whatever. But I wonder what kind of weird stuff they're seeing. And by the way, chat, yes, I'm probably gonna talk about skinwalkers here later. I got a
Oh,
whole thing about it. Um,
oh, nice.
um, but yeah, yeah. Uh, hey, I need to run to the bathroom again. And if you want to tell them about your plans to go to uh, Philadelphia and possibly check out New York and all that stuff, now would be a great time to do it. And everyone, I will be back here in as fast as I can.
So, for those of you in chat who don't know who I am Friar Tuck on my channel because I have a very in depth knowledge of history and just kind of things. I have picked up the nickname Professor Tuck. So, I generally introduce myself on my channel in that way. So, if you want to find my channel, that's how you find it, Friar Tuck, FRIAR Tuck. And anyways, we started in Kansas City. We're walking our way all the way to, well, we were going to be walking all the way to Philadelphia, but my dog ended up getting injured along the way because of all the trash that's along the side of the road because people keep throwing glass bottles and shit outside. And so we decided to catch a bus the rest of the way. But we're going to be doing the Great Walk with a group called Homeless Entrepreneur. So what he does is helps those that are either poor or low income or homeless, and either he will provide you with mentors that will help you move up the food chain in your career field, or he will help you with getting starting a business if you want to start a business while you're homeless as your way of creating your own work. But anyways, we're going to be going from Kensington, Philadelphia, starting I believe July 15th, and we're going to be walking over like a 5 day period of time. We're going to do about 90 miles to to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey for the World Cup Finals. So that's where we're going to end up, and we might be. Since we're taking a bus and we're arriving a couple months early, we're deciding whether we want to take the East Coast Greenway and go up and explore New York, or if I just want to hang out on the Appalachia Trail for a while and just, chill and relax and just kind of like let time pass by for a couple of months. It really depends on all kinds of things, but that's kind of, if you're following me over on my channel, that's kind of what I've been doing for a while. And like I said, we started in Kansas City about mid-February. We've been through two tornado warnings and three deep freezes, and including Giardia and yeah, even my dog, she was injured at first when
Sorry,
we
guys.
came
I
into
think I
St.
got the
Louis.
bladder of a hamster.
Huh?
I said, sorry, guys. I think I have the bladder of a hamster.
Uh,
But yeah, where were you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break
oh
your.
no, no, I was just kind of explaining a little bit of my journey.
Okay. But yeah, you guys more than welcome to, you know, pop over and check out and see what he's up to. He's well, when do you leave again to start that?
Um, for what, the Great Walk?
Well, no, you're the bus trip. You're going on the bus trip.
Oh,
You're
the
going on
bus trip. We
yeah
we catch the bus on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so we catch the bus on Tuesday. We'll be somewhere in Pennsylvania Wednesday morning, either Harrisburg or Philadelphia. But I don't. I'm still, yeah, like, but I've got to kind of weigh all my options, and I still got one more person to talk to, because he's gonna be the pretty much the deciding factor of which way I go, because I might be doing some other stuff getting prepared for the Great Walk. But I don't know. Philadelphia will be nice. I've always wanted to visit Philadelphia, because Constitutional Hall and all the stuff there. Like Since I'm a huge history nut, it's like that's gonna be one of my favorite places to see something I've always wanted to see and never have.
Maybe do a live stream from there, and maybe we can do one of those split things. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah, go live together.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll work it out. But anyway, yeah. Let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah. I plan to have intermission things set up for you guys. Like when I do gotta step out for a second. I'm still working on that. We're still knocking the bugs out. I think we got a lot of them fixed. It seems like it's just now I'm adding more of the stuff that I need to add. Like the chat window and the ticker counter and whatnot. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. We are. Hell, let's jump to the skinwalkers. Why not? All right.
Yeah. Skinwalkers, isn't this like a Native American thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of different um representations of skinwalkers depending on how you. Now the skinwalkers, and don't ask me how to say it in Navajo because I don't want to mess it up, and I definitely don't want to offend any Navajos. Uh, I mean, and this is considering that I mean, part of my family is actually Cherokee, and yeah, I can't speak Indian. Anyway, but skinwalkers are more or less centered around the Navajo folklore. They're basically malevolent witches that have the capability to transform into and disguise themselves as animals, wolves, coyotes, owls, and spread chaos, fear, and death. Um, they're not really mythical creatures, but in order to become a skinwalker, you have to basically off your parents, um, or do some other horrible things with your parents. Um, but it seems like the modern depictions and stuff have kind of like made them look like monsters and stuff, and it's I don't know if it's people acting like animals or spirits animals or whatever, but yeah, there's definitely something weird going on there. And I know you've heard of the Skinwalker Ranch. I know everybody in chat has heard about the Skinwalker Ranch, and it was owned by Bigelow. Well, it was owned by Bigelow. It's not owned by Bigelow anymore. He sold it, but for I don't know what was it, 20, 30 years, um, uh, during MK Ultra and Project Molotov and a few other things, Skinwalker Ranch was a heavily researched site because they would get, you know, that they would see stuff in the sky and they would see, you know, that was like a hot spot for these types of things. But it seems like there are a growing number of, I mean, and when I mean, I actually went to Skinwalker Ranch, and there should be a video floating around. But anyway, we had like one of those old radios in our car, and once we pulled into the gate, I wasn't able to go through, but I was pulled at one of the gates, one of the back gates, and our radio cut on, started playing some weird stuff, and at that time, that was enough for me, and I kind of left. But uh, yeah, there's definitely something weird going on at Skinwalker Ranch. But the reason I bring it up is that there has been a growing number of reports. Um, there's naval intelligence officers that are starting talking about them. They're calling them the American werewolves. They're finding these letters and stuff. The actual and see, this is what I found interesting. Because mostly it's Navajo, but they're starting to find like um, like Chinese and Japanese old documents that describe skinwalkers and actually use the reference skinwalkers. And that's weird because, um, normally they have a different classification for those kind of things, but they're actually referencing those types of things. So I wonder if there was some kind of, like, back then, more so than we realized, there was some type of cultural shift, or maybe, you know people from those areas were actually in the Americas.
Um, what about? Because I think um South America and maybe like Africa and stuff like that were all attached at one point in time, and so that's why, that's kind of been part of the explanation they've given, like why you see pyramids in one part of the world and in another part of the world is that they were all part of the same civilization at one point in time until the earth started splitting apart.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I believe, was it the Pangea theory or whatever you call it?
Hmm.
Where we were all connected, and then some massive thing happened. I mean, that goes back to the whole, um, the
Tower
brief
of Babel.
the brief part in the Bible when they talk about Babylon, where we all knew. I mean, where the Tower of Babel. We all knew, spoke the same language and everything else, and then supposedly God got mad and separated all of us. Now, that could have been a scenario where, you know at some point everybody kind of, like, we're in, like, the society itself, or cult, or civilization was all in the same area, and then something massive happened and just kind of, like, separate everybody. you know you kind of use, like, the Bible and historical events to kind of, like, you know figure out what's proof and what's you know basically commentary. The people that were writing the Bible and the people that were writing the scripts for the other ancient documents and stuff were basically their version of YouTubers. But I hate to say that, but I mean that's the truth. Um, but yeah, I mean, one of the other reasons I brought it up is because it was Yosemite National Park, and this was also another weird a weird place for this to happen. And this happened at the first of the year. There was an individual, him and his buddies. This man and his two best friends, Andrew and Zach, was hiking through Yosemite National Park. Zach had a job in the summer at Glacier Point, parking agent, and he knew the park like the back of his hand. And he was given a house with the two other guys that worked at the park. That is very common because you can go to these parks and you can get a job and you can do these various things, and the park will hire you and give you a place to stay, and the houses are quite nice. One of my jobs, I worked for a park and I was also a ranger. So, I mean, if that's another thing. If I was out and about, doing walkabouts or something, I would go to the parks and see if they have any kind of work, because they'll hook you up, man. They will. And they always need people. They always need people. But
Really?
huh?
I've asked a couple of times, and it's kind of like they don't. They seem like they put a little bit of barriers there. I was like, oh, okay, well,
Well, no,
you know.
you just gotta find the right one. I mean, normally it's like the park. They you got to get along with the person and everything. And like how I got my job, I kept coming there, and I would bring the guy, the head ranger, a cup of coffee every day, and he eventually gave me a job. But um, yeah, yeah. But yeah, him and the after a few hours when the sun went down, it says his friend had fallen off a 50-foot cliff and shattered a femur, and this was unusual for him. He called 911. Everybody come out, and they claimed it was they claimed it was because of a skinwalker, and the police saw this thing. They saw this thing. It was a kind of a big deal. Um,
So, a skinwalker is a shape-shifting witch, essentially, right?
oh yeah, shapeshifter witch. You know, you imagine somebody being able to change into I mean, you know, basically how modern TV is or modern movies have showed us how like werewolves are.
Okay.
And I mean, and
Um.
and they may look like a dog or a cat or something, but they just behave oddly.
Okay. Um. I- if there's been other worlders that have been here and done genetic experiments, or there are some really weird shit that's coming here from the other side of the universe, I could see like that happening. But to be to be as global as it is, it makes you wonder like how this became common folklore and how old this folklore really is.
I mean, I mean, I actually in the past, I mean, I did a deep dive into it. I spoke about it. I plan to do another one because a lot of stuff has changed. Uh, I like cryptics. A lot of people get some of the stuff wrong, in my opinion. Now, I mean, I wouldn't take what I say always for gospel, but I have been doing this for a while, and I mean, I have spoken with a lot of people who claim to have seen these things, and people who you know I would believe. Um, and I mean, it goes back to what
Are
I'm
these
saying.
public
There's a bunch
figures
of
or
weird
private
stuff floating
figures?
around out there.
Are these public figures or private figures?
Both, both. I mean, and when I say public figures, I mean I'm not talking about like, hey, here buy my book type guys. Like if you're and yes, I you know I might sell a book or something, but I mean, yeah, but but I mean, they're usually when you look for information, you find information. You're talking to somebody, and they within the first few sentences, they're trying to get you to buy a book. Then it's hard for me to believe them. Um, and that's always been the case, and that goes with like UFO guys and people when they talk about cryptids and everything else. Um, we're going to talk about Mothman here in a little bit. You know, I actually I did a dive on it too. I mean, I actually went up to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and with a group of friends, and we checked all that stuff out, and that's wild in itself. But there's been some Mothman sightings here recently, so I want to go over that. Um,
Ooh,
yeah,
I've
but
never heard of Mothman before.
oh wow, dude. All right, well, what about Wendigos?
I've heard of them, but um they're basically vampires from Mexico, aren't they?
No, you're thinking about
Chupacabra.
yeah. A Wendigo is they often fall in a category. They're described as a tall, emaciated, pale creature with antlers or deer-like features. They're usually spotted in northern woods, Canada, and Appalachia. And like I'm in Appalachia, and like you will be out here in the woods sometimes, and you'll hear the sound. Now, occasionally you'll hear like a woman scream, like way out in the woods and stuff. Normally,
Hmm.
that's a panther. Um, normally, um, but then normally I mean, but these Wendigo things, and they'll come up on you, and you know, when I was growing up, we always thought it was somebody that was born with like defects or whatever, and they just kind of like distance themselves from people. I mean, back then it seems like it'd be a thing that I would have done. Um, you imagine being born into a world and you don't look normal, and especially in some of these small towns and things where you kind of like have to You know,
Kind of like a changeling.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that was that was the issue. But however, I mean, but these Wendigo creatures, they're pale, their skin is stretched over their bones, and like I said, they tend to have like like deer horns coming out of their heads. Um, they're commonly reported in Minnesota, Canada, and parts of Kentucky, and along the Appalachia. Here recently, as far back as 2019, um, there was a uh, group that all saw it, all made videos at the Red River Gorge. They reported a fast-moving creature that seemed to follow them at night, and it appeared smarter and faster than your typical animal. There was an instance here. I think it was 2016. There was a police officer that was responding to a call. He was out here on a country road. He was driving along, and this thing hopped up on his, like, got in front of his vehicle, and he didn't know what to do. It hopped up on his vehicle, broke his glass, hopped back down again. The police officer got out of his vehicle and went to go shoot this thing, and it jumped off into the woods. But it was definitely a man with antlers, and their police report and everything, and
Was there any, like, because usually they got dash cams and stuff like that?
oh yeah, yeah. There's video out there floating around of these things. I mean, like I said, there was a case in Kentucky in 2024. There was a video that surfaced of like and when we start talking about modern day stuff, you have to think, okay, is it AI? But when you start looking at 2023, 2024, 2019, and on back, this isn't really AI. I mean, you can't throw it out there, and I hate that the community has to weed through some of this stuff. Um, um, this AI mess. So we don't have. I mean, because okay, humans are curious creatures. We want to know. We want to understand things. We see something. We're out in the woods or we're doing something. Or we're walking along or at the mall and we see some kind of weird stuff. We want to know what it is. It might scare us to death, but we want to know what it is. And we might actually see something. You might be out with your kids, or you might be at the river having a picnic, or doing whatever, and all of a sudden you see a UFO fly by, and you grab your camera, and I mean you grab your cell phone, you're recording it, and you upload it online, and you yourself know that you've seen this thing, and you're like, okay, I got to talk to somebody, I got to tell people. You upload it, and then a quarter of the internet starts saying it's AI. It's AI. And we have gotten to that point where we can't believe what we see. And
Or here.
Or here, yeah, yeah. And I mean that's another reason why these podcasts like this, these long format things, are important. Where people pick apart these things and do deep dives and talk about it, and who will do their best to try to be honest with you and say, yeah, okay, that's bullshit.
Honestly, I think in the future it's more going to be about the human connection and the human being. Like, we're going to have so much AI, so much robotics, that people will crave just content, like rough, fucking sloppy ass content from some dumbass fucking middle of nowhere. Comparatively speaking, just to be able to get something refreshing, it'll be new and cutting edge. Like, oh my God, are you watching this? Are you watching this hillbilly that does nothing but sit around and fart while he eats beans?
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, it just, I don't know. There's this one guy. I mean, and I don't want to put him on blast, but there's this one guy I watch. He lives in Ohio, and he's basically this backyard basement wannabe scientist, and he comes up with all these weird stuff. You'll see something online. He's like, I'm going to recreate it, and like he made a hot dog cooker out of wires. He made a he has this crazy obsession with like Timu, and he even here recently he got a oil maker, like one of those oil pressers, and he went and got all this bird seed, and he made different kinds of oil from the bird seed to fry chicken with, and yeah, and he actually fried chicken in motor oil, by the way. But yeah, he's an idiot. But he's making content, and people are watching him, and he's doing his thing, and it's not AI. It might be stupid content, but it's not AI. And I think people should be. But anyway, all right, jumping back over, like I said, hell, we're still stuck on Wendigos. But yeah, like I said, there's been numerous sightings of these creatures.
But my I guess my next question is okay, so what makes them so scary other than the fact that they jump on your car and they've got antlers?
Because they will literally, I mean, um, if they're not a creature, let's say they're a malnourished bear or other animal, then they're
Mhm.
diseased and they could still hurt you. Or if they are some kind of supernatural creature, then you know they're fast, they move very quick, and they can't attack you and they can't hurt you.
Yeah, but what is their typical prey?
Um, no one really knows. I mean, but they seem to have a high interest in us, and it's not because of the Doritos we carry around.
Um, Probably curiosity and similarity. Now, if there were genetic experiments happening, well, according to Meyer, it took them 400,000 years to be able to create the man that we are today. And
I mean,
that was like 20 million years ago.
that's when we're saying genetic experiments from creatures are not from here. But what about genetic experiments from the mankind that's already here? I mean, I know for a fact that there are labs all over the place, and they are actively doing experiments on
But these
people and things.
Wendigos have been going for how long, though?
Oh, they were beginning of the century, yeah. I mean, it's a um.
Science wasn't that far along yet. It was still very primitive and barbaric.
Well, I mean, I would say yeah that, and I would agree with you on that part. But I'm talking about whatever new version that might be out there, because it seems like if there are these creatures and they are, there would be government organizations that would actually catch them, then they're probably breeding them. I mean, here recently there was this was it army guy? It was an army general. It was somebody in the government that's high up, and he said, and I mean, I'm gonna try my best to quote, but I mean, this was over the past 2 weeks when he said it. He said that there is a active breeding program that they are getting people from the streets, and they're taking them to these places, and they are breeding them with these like aliens and things and whatnot. So you have to imagine is if mankind is actually on a breeding kick with creatures, what kind of creatures are they making? What kind of creatures are they producing? Um,
Scientists always seem to be the evil villain.
oh yeah, yeah.
If even if you listen to the if you listen to some of the backstory of Mu and Atlantis, is it was a war of scientists, and eventually one was able to pull an asteroid in and throw it right down on Atlantis, and that's how it was destroyed because it got an all-out war. But it was always about scientists. Scientists got into the government, just kind of like how we have Dr. Fauci, and they end up controlling everything because they have the scientific data, and so therefore they become a religion in the same way we have Christianity and other things. But it's more of a cult religion, and I think that this is that this is the downfall of any up and coming or major civilization, whether it be on this planet or any other planet, based upon what I've read about, from the stuff I've read.
I mean, it could be. I mean, people might experiment to the point where, we kind of de-evolve or modify ourselves to a point where we're no longer humans. I mean, I can see that. I mean, but I think we're going to create a lot of monsters along the way, and we're going to break a lot of eggs, and that alone is scary. That is a scary thought. I mean, but I mean, all of this stuff that we're seeing. I mean, minus the ghost and the poltergeist and things like that. The stuff like Mothman and the stuff like Skinwalkers and the Dogman. Speaking of which, there has been some Dogman sightings here recently too. It seems like this year and last year are coinciding with the whole. Everyone's seeing the things in the sky and the aliens and everything else. It seems like there's this massive resurgence of all these cryptids, and which is one of the reasons why I added this back to the channel, because I got more reports to go over than I have time to do tonight. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is there's so much, and I mean, like I said, I have video, and I haven't even showed the video, and I probably won't tonight. I mean, I will eventually, but it's but Mothman. Now, Mothman is the thing that happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And in your travels, if you ever go to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and you should, it's this quaint little town. But it has been like medianized or whatever. Because this is what made it popular. There's actually an old movie that talks about it. But back in the 50s, there was a thing called the Silver Bridge. The Silver Bridge was this long bridge that went across the West Virginia and Ohio River there. And well, people started seeing this weird creature that looked like a man/moth with red eyes. Back on the red eye bit. Yep. And they would see this thing. They would see this thing on, perched on this big ass bridge, and they would see it at the TNT plant. Now, see, in Point Pleasant at the time, it was a place where they were doing government experiments. It was a place where they were making TNT. You can go out there, and there's like this massive place that's full of like old bunkers and things. It's wild. Point Pleasant is wild. I mean, it is. But anyway, like I said, one night, the Silver Bridge, this huge bridge, it was around, I guess rush hour or whatever they call it, and it was full of cars. And for some reason, all the cars got stopped on the bridge, and this bridge went broke apart and went into the Ohio River. A lot of people lost their lives, and a lot of people weren't even recovered. And there's literally cars down there under it. They never rebuilt the Silver Bridge again. After that, the town sort of died until it was kind of brought back, with people talking about Mothman and the things that happened. And it is sad. Now, the reason they said, the other reason they said this happened is because Point Pleasant was also a home for this large group of Native Americans back in the day. And the chief there, his name was Chief Corncob. Chief Corncob cursed the town. He cursed the town, and as a act of evil, the governor took his ash. I mean, cremated him and took his ashes and put him in a stone there in the middle of town, and it was everyone believes that this is Chief Corncob's curse, and that's how the Mothman was brought into existence. And then other people believe that the Mothman is a actual alien entity or interdimensional entity that only comes when or shows up when like bad things are going to happen, like bad events are going to happen. Um, and there's been many other instances that people have seen like Mothman. People have seen the Mothman in New York. People have seen the Mothman in Detroit. People have seen the Mothman. They claim they've seen the Mothman during 9/11 or before 9/11. But here recently, there has been what they're calling it Mothman 2.0, and they're starting to see Mothman again. This large flying creature with glowing red eyes, and it's kind of freaking out people up in West Virginia.
Do you think some hoaxers are just taking old nostalgia and recreating it?
Well, they thought it was hoaxers back then. I thought, okay, here we got this, come up with this idea, but it kind of goes it kind of goes back to another case that happened there not far from Point Pleasant. There was this individual, he claimed he was visited by aliens and whatnot, and the apparently the Men in Black come there. The whole town knew about it. The town was he was talking about these creatures in silver suits that were telling him that there would be these things that would come to tell him about or show the people about bad things that was going to happen. And no one believed him. I mean, I wouldn't believe this guy. He sounded like a nutter. But then, like right after, people started seeing the Mothman, and people started seeing these other things. Now, do people? I mean, could it have been hoaxers? Absolutely. Could it have been something else? Absolutely. But to read these stories firsthand and to see them, these people were serious, man. They were extremely serious.
Or really good actors.
No. I mean, we're not talking. We're not talking people who were like right now. We're not talking people who want to get their face, the face out there and YouTube and stuff like that. See, that's another thing too that bothers me just a hair. Is that we kind of confuse modern day attitude with with how people might have or used to be back then. Like, of course everybody wants to be famous. Of course everybody wants to make money, but I don't want to say everybody. Not everybody. Some people do. But there's some people that kind of just like fall into it, and you can kind of tell. Like you'll have a dude that like, I don't want to write a book. I don't even think I should talk about this and everything else. And you got people bugging him for his story or her for his story. You see that countless in like those little magazines. Have you ever seen Fate magazine?
No, but now I've heard about it from you and from that podcast you had me watch.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're not even going to talk about that podcast tonight. I don't know why I made you watch it yet, but I mean, but like I said, I will probably have Peter on at some point. Like I said, I know Peter. The guy he was talking to, I don't know the guy from the Y-Files, but I do know Peter. And You know, a weird thing about the Y files, though. If you look on their website and everything, you can kind of see the address of the they have a spot in North Carolina, and when you pull it up on Google Earth, they got it blacked out like a government site.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, he probably did that on purpose just so that people wouldn't find out where he was.
Well, I mean, you know where. I mean, it shows exactly where it is. I mean, you got the address and the road and everything else. You can't really hide an address, but for some reason they wanted to hide the building. And yeah, I mean, you could pull pictures of the building up old, but I mean, it's like all of a sudden they decide they have to do that, and it just seems weird. I don't know. But they have done a whole
It
lot.
might also be a black spot on the city planner. You know what the black spot on the city planner means, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, this is
So if you ever go and look at the city planner, like go look at the plots and stuff like that, especially in large cities, you'll see every once in a while you'll see a plot that's it's completely blacked out. Reason being is because it's not in the jurisdiction of the city, so therefore it can't get taxed or anything else like that. But the second you get utilities, whether it be trash, sewer, septic, electricity, or anything that you connect to the city, you immediately become in their jurisdiction and under their rule. So if you want to live truly free, you're supposed to make sure to cut off all services and just kind of have a plot of land right there in the center of the city, and they can't do anything to you, not even charge you taxes, because it's without their jurisdiction.
Hmm.
Yeah, you go back to being a citizen of the state at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be the case, but I mean, I was referring more to like Google Earth, and I wouldn't see they would black out a site like that.
Oh, I mean, unless they're getting it from the if they're getting everything, like if they're just mapping the visuals with the camera, but getting all the information from the city planner, that could be it.
We actually had one of those Google car or one of those map cars come by the house, and I it was back when I was having a real bad day. I was out there in my boxers, and I looked horrible.
Did you manage to get on Google Earth?
I think I'm on there, at least one of them on there. I don't know if that was the updated picture or one of the old ones, but I'm sure they either kept it or removed it. But yeah, who knows? Um, Now I was talking about the Hat Man. You know, Mom seeing the Hat Man, and I take it you never heard of the Hat Man.
Mm-mm.
You know, a lot of people now that should be an interesting thing. If you're bored or if anybody else is bored, go type in the Hat Man, and you're going to see all kinds of stories about people who take Benadryl, and I guess they start hallucinating or whatever, and they see that everyone sees the same thing, which is really weird. Everybody sees the exact same thing. They see this tall man, uh, basically in a black suit, no face, with a black hat, and they believe that he is some type of interdimensional being.
Okay. Why?
They believe it's um because using the medication allows you to see that, and he comes and sees these people. He's trying to like take you away. Um, but anyway, my mom, she used to see him a lot. I seen him once, and he makes things happen in your home too. Like when you're half asleep and he makes you see things like she would get up and I would hear her scream and she would be pointing and she would think there was snakes in the toilet and everything else. Now I'm not 100% sure she was on Benadryl. I know she was definitely affected by something, and that she was seeing this Hat Man. And at that time, when I was a kid, I had no idea what the Hat Man was. Later in life, I learned that people were actually seeing the same thing that she was seeing, which makes me think that either the human brain, I mean, and this is, this once again, there's a lot of people like that have never heard about it, and they go search, and they're like, okay, we're all seeing the same thing for some reason. Why would all these people see the same thing at night? Either when they're awake or in their dreams.
It might be a chemical symbol.
I mean, I mean, I thought the same thing too, but how would, I mean, and I don't think everybody is, I mean, I think that taking that amount of Benadryl can get you there, but there's people who see this thing without taking Benadryl. I mean,
Dude,
I know.
I've taken 10 so back in the day when they had me misdiagnosed, they would tell me, well, if you're having a panic attack, go ahead and have Benadryl. Take one, it should be fine. It should knock you out. Dude, I've taken 10 and 20 Benadryl at a time, and it doesn't even phase me.
Well, I mean, some people don't.
Well, it was because I wasn't having a panic attack. I was having an adrenal rush. That isn't going to help me with an adrenal rush. It was basically meant to make me drowsy. But when you have that much adrenaline running through you, there's nothing that can knock you the fuck out.
Now see now when my son was in the hospital, they gave you, he's autistic, so being neurodivergent, they call it.
Hmm.
You can only take certain medications because they make the medications that would normally affect us affect them differently. So, well, anyway, one of the medications I mean, he was freaking out in the hospital. He didn't want to be there. I didn't blame him. So we had to calm him down because we were still trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And they were like, okay, we can give him Benadryl. Well, the first night they gave him Benadryl, he calmed down. Told me he felt a little weird. Well, he was doing it again. A couple nights later, they gave him Benadryl, and it he had to get up. He had to move around. He was telling them they were trying to kill him. That he said he wanted to scratch his face off. And like right after that, he couldn't even use his hands, and that's when the whole leg thing happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. Be careful with Benadryl. You never know.
Yeah, well, I don't take any medication. There's the medication I take is all naturopathic. Especially considering the lifestyle I live, I can't afford or always go to a store to get medication. And this stuff, basically they're playing chemistry with your body, and they're hoping they're getting it right. And like they might get part of it right, but then go extreme on something else. And when you're a zombie, no, 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 no. You need to be able to feel something. Like there was one medication they gave me that I watched a dude smack the shit out of his girlfriend, and it didn't even phase me. I just kind of like stood there with a blank face on.
So how's your battery? You told me that you might have to jump off.
Um, if you want me to hop off, I can. I'm sitting at about 25% on my battery, but I still got like a 9% left on
Well,
my other battery.
I didn't want to tap you out, and we've been on 2 hours. I was going to take a 7 minute intercession and then come back. So you be on with me tomorrow?
Yeah, I could be on with you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Tomorrow is tomorrow and see Saturday and Sunday are WrestleMania nights. So we're going to screw with the WrestleMania crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this the format just for this Friday, or is this part of the new format? Like after about 2 hours, you go into a intercession, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah. I want to like
like after 2 hours or maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes or something, I'm gonna so I can go and check on things, go grab a cigarette, and then come back and then start back up again.
Oh, so do you just leave the live stream running, or do
Oh
you?
yeah. I'll leave a live stream running, and I'm gonna stick a thing on here. It says be back in 5 minutes. You know.
Just leave a sign that says "Went to take a shit."
Oh no.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny, but all right, man. Yeah, I will see you. Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right, man. Sounds good. And like I said, get that battery and that bank charged up.
Yeah, it'll be charged up tomorrow. I'll have more time to do stuff. I was just experimenting because they had lockers here at the library, and so. But the thing is, once you get in it, you can't pull it out. It's like, man, yeah, it's more complicated, especially when you got to pull stuff in and out. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why my bank didn't get as charged as it could have, because I could have hit about 40% today. So. But yeah, I'll have my bank charged for full well tomorrow.
All right, dude. All right. I'll talk to you. I'll give you a call in the morning.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
All right, man. Bye. All right, everybody. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna run and check on my kid and go have a smoke, and then we'll get back at it again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Uh, my son, he had a clock 3D printer, and he passed that on me. So I wanted to go check on him real quick, and I thought I'd run and jump on and go grab a cigarette as well. Do you guys think I should play music during like intercession or anything like that when I have to go and run off and do things? I don't know. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I was afraid I'd lose some of y'all, but no, you seem to still be here. But all right, so well, I let Tuck go because he had a low battery, and I didn't want to kill his battery, and I figured. I was trying to read messages. Sorry, guys. Okay, going back to the topics of like haunted locations and things. There is Eastern State Penitentiary. Um, I know some of y'all must have, y'all grew up watching like the Ghost Adventures and things like that. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to. How's the volume now? Volume back. All right, we'll go with it. I don't know. I can't see anything. Anyway, I was talking about Eastern State Penitentiary. The Eastern State Penitentiary updates. There has been it has been growing in popularity here recently for some reason. Like I said, there's a bunch of weird stuff, and for some reason they decided to put a big yard sale out there, a big vintage flea market, and this is like one of the most haunted places in the United States. Anyway, I don't know if any of you guys are around there, but there's supposed to be 150 vendors at this place. It would be interesting to see, and if I knew about it, I would have, maybe tried to go out there and look at it. But it just seems extremely weird. And I guess I should have told him about that, because that's going to happen in Philadelphia as well. Let me send him a link. Lord have mercy. Anyway, yeah, but there seems to be a lot of static about it, and they're bringing a whole lot of people into this like haunted place for a yard sale. I just don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know. Seems weird. But anyway, I thought I'd bring it up. It started popping up on the news, and let anybody know about it if they wanted to go. But now I want to talk about the Stanley Motel. This is the one that was in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining and everything. Apparently, there are new active rooms. New rooms that are showing signs of haunting. People are reporting things that, like, them being touched, them being messed with, stuff being stolen. It seems like this year and last year there has been this rise in supernatural activity. There's been this rise in, of course, alien activity. You have to wonder if all this stuff isn't connected. Maybe it's connected with the whole Saturn thing. They didn't really say which rooms. They said that the Stanley Hotel was considered, air quotes, active again. for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, it just popped up. I'm still waiting on information. I sent the Stanley Hotel an email, see what they were talking about. But like each year they do like a Stephen King thing, and a bunch of people go out there and they do like this, kind of convention thing. And there's also a group of like paranormal researchers that go out there, and I I kind of keep up with it, I guess, because of the whole Stephen King thing. But there's people who don't really have an interest in Stephen King that are going out there. They're saying that there's these more active, that there are active rooms. I don't know. Words are hard. After running my mouth for 2 hours. Anyway, I always wondered. When Stephen King was out there, was he influenced by something? You think? Maybe he was influenced by some kind of supernatural thing. I mean, the whole story itself seems like it is. I don't know. I don't think Stephen King was on drugs then. I mean, maybe not a lot, but he was definitely influenced by something. Yeah, I want to go out there too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe one day you come down, we'll go over there. Go check it out. Well, we're definitely not going over there in the wintertime though. Maybe we can get a bunch of people and I'll go and might do a whole like paranoid, thing convention or some kind of thing. That would be cool. Honestly, back like right when I started, I stopped. I mean, there was a newscaster or whatever that was wanted me to bring a whole bunch of people over on a cruise ship and do this whole big paranoid cruise ship thing or whatever. And it would have been interesting, but I'm not really like, that big of a fan of boats anymore. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I used to live on a boat, and living on a boat is a weird experience. Being out there alone on the water, it now it feels very supernatural. There's this loneliness about it. You're alone. You're alone there. You're alone with your thoughts. And when it gets dark, it really gets dark. I mean, yeah, cruise ships are definitely death traps. You have, especially after, the cough or whatever, and seeing all of those. There was an individual that sent me a video of, like, I almost thought it was a movie. Like the whole ballroom was full of, body bags and things, and I just don't want to go experience that. There's individuals that are going out there now that are living on cruise ships because it's more affordable. No. I don't want to go on a sail ship. A sail ship. I had one. Nope. Not anymore. Yeah, there's been like going back onto like the haunted house thing. I got like a whole story set for them, but I'm not going in deep dive on them now. They were just like basic topics, to sit here and talk about. But the Avenue Murder House, the Basila, for some reason they decided to set up live cams, and it shows people going in there, and I see your other message, and I don't want to do that just yet. But anyway, I did one on Reddit during the. A friend asked me. Said I should start ask me anything. One of those AMA things, and I did one during when we had the
I mean, not the COVID. I don't want to use that word. Bad word. Bad word. Sorry, YouTube. No, I don't want to use it. But no, when we were doing the movie prep for the CERN stuff, and yeah, yeah. When we did one, when there was a CERN prep, and what we had a Ask Me Anything, and we had a fairly good turnout. I think it's still up on Reddit. I'm not sure. You guys can go check. It would probably either be under Paranoid Times if it's still active, or it would be under the original story, original name I used to post the story, which would be CERN Scared or CERN Scared 1. You can find those on Reddit. You know, that was back in the day. Like CERN Scared was where I posted a lot of like writing comments that had to do with, I mean, a lot of the early writing when it come with the CERN story. For some reason, I love to go on Reddit. Maybe it was because like the creepypasta thing or whatever, but I like to go on Reddit and start my own subreddits and start my own story blocks for people to read and stuff like that. I can kind of gauge and engage with people a lot easier that way, and kind of like mold and model the story, you know, based on what they want to hear, you know, and kind of see that. Now going back to, yeah, let's talk about poltergeist. If you guys go and you know, start doing web searches and stuff, like especially on TikTok and YouTube, you're going to find, if you type in poltergeist activity caught on doorbell or ring cams, you're going to see a lot. I had a lot to show, but I'm still seeing if I can get permission to use some of this stuff. I don't want to go ahead and get copyright strikes for the new show and a new channel and start showing stuff. I mean, I see other people doing it, but I want to make sure that you can effectively, because ran into problems in the past. But anyway, like people are seeing things on their door cams, and I'll see if I can't show some of that stuff. We talked about the Mothman. I'm going over my notes here. People are starting to talk about Bigfoot again. They claim they actually found Bigfoot DNA, which is interesting. And you know, maybe we can kind of like either put this whole thing to rest, or you know, prove it or not. I'd like to. I mean, you know, either the bunch of crazy people seeing a guy dressed up in a bear costume, or there's actually some critter out there that's running around that's as big as we are. You know, I mean, I threw this out to you guys before, and I'm hoping that some of you will actually reach out to me on Facebook, and you know, like want to come on the show, because like I said, I do want to hear from you guys. I want to have interactions with people. I do have other people lined up, and you know, they will be on eventually. But I didn't want to bring them fully on yet until I got all the bugs and stuff worked out. You know, and see which direction the channel is going to go in. And I want to, you know, provide the best content for you guys. And sort of like get it to where it needs to be. You know, like I said, it's been a while since I've been back, and you know, there's been a lot that's went on. I mean, there has. I'm sure there's been a lot that's went on in a lot of our lives, and you know, the world I left on, you know, Paranoid Times is a lot different now than it used to be, and you I don't know. I mean, have you guys been getting a bad feeling about this year? Have you guys been wondering what, you know, may be on the horizon for all of us? I mean, you know, with the rumors of war and all the weird stuff we've been seeing in the sky. And it just, I don't know, it just seems like something's influencing everything. But I don't know, y'all. I really don't. I'm hoping you guys. I've been on for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I want you guys to pop over tomorrow. I got some real cool Black Eyed Children videos and some other things that I want to show you guys. But for the most part, tomorrow and for Saturday and Sunday is going to be WrestleMania. And you know, I don't know if you guys watch wrestling. I'm not a big fan of wrestling, but man, is there some crazy stuff in the wrestling world. There's you talking about blood sacrifice. There's where they have changed things. You're talking about like that they're using private militaries to run operations within that. It seems like they're using these wrestling matches to influence aspects of the world, and they're doing that because of the fan base. But anyway, I hope you guys will join me for tomorrow, and I thank you guys for joining us tonight. And like always, stay paranoid, my friends. And I